Um, Integrity is the essential to believability of information produced during an investigation. The Employment Relations Board ruling in the Officer Frashour case asserts that during their investigation, they have reviewed and researched all the information provided to them by both parties. After a thorough investigation, which spanned over several months and thousands of pages of documents, the ERB ruled that the city of Portland is in violation of state law. Further, the ERB ordered the city to cease and desist from violating that state law and to reinstate Ronald Frashour as a Portland police officer. The ERB is the sixth independent body that has ruled that Officer Frashour committed no misconduct, violation of laws, civil rights violations, or violations of training and policies of the Portland Police Bureau. Yet Mayor Adams snubs his nose at all of them, including the United States Department of Justice, whom he praised highly just a week ago for their findings in regards to their investigation into patterns of use of force by the Portland Police Bureau. Mayor Adams has turned this into a personal vendetta and is using the hard-earned dollars of tax-paying Portlanders as his personal checkbook to extend this politically motivated witch hunt at the expense of the integrity of a process that protects the very core of collective bargaining. Throughout this process, Mayor Adams has desperately tried to tip the scales of this ill-fated investigation in order to justify his actions and statements made before the evidence and the facts of the Aaron Campbell incident had been presented to a grand jury. We know how Mayor Adams felt about this incident and as he marched through the streets of Portland rather than waiting to gather the facts. 6 independent bodies have reviewed the facts. All 6 exonerated Officer Frashour of any misconduct. Mayor Adams stands alone, unsupported by the facts, and it's time for him to end this mess and provide the community with closure. Any questions?
Mayor Adams says that he is not going to back down. He says he will appeal this decision. Who do you think he's going to appeal to, and do you think he will be successful with that attempt?
Well, he will be appealing, number one, to the other commissioners to take this forward to the Oregon Court of Appeals. And obviously, in that court, they will look at the case. If it goes that far, they will look at the case and they will base it on the merits of the ERB decision and also of the arbitrator's decision.
So it says the ERB said that he should be reinstated within 30 days of their ruling, but that would put it at October 21st. What happens if they decide to appeal this? I know he said he was going to hold a hearing, a public hearing, within 30 days. I mean, what happens? Does Frashour go back to work by the 21st, do you think, Daryl?
The mayor stated he's not going to reinstate Ron Frashour, that he's going to take it to the Court of Appeals. That's what he wants to do.
You guys have this contract in place, and as you mentioned, the mayor's, in your guys' word, is not living up to that contract. Frustrating for you guys to keep going through this and all this money being spent?
Well, I think this is two-pronged. Number one, all the money being spent. These are funds that are taxpayer dollars that could be used for more important things. And plus, he's gotten the answer from 6 different independent bodies. This is not from one. This is not from anyone connected with the unions. This is not anyone who are pro-unions. These are independent bodies, including the U.S. DOJ, which he praised, like I said, about a week ago for their investigation into the use of force by the Portland Police Bureau. So they found that Ron Frashour did nothing wrong, violated no one's civil rights, and there was no misconduct involved in his application of deadly force. This is personal for the mayor. This is something that he's doing to be able to justify his tenure as police commissioner. He wants to make a statement, and he's using Ron Frashour in this case to make a statement wrongly. And we as Portland Police Association will stand by Ron Frashour, will stand by the arbiter's decision, will stand by the ERB decision and the other independent bodies who also made decisions in the same light.
How's Officer Frashour holding up during all of this?
Well, this is tough. This is a person who did his job. He did what he was trained to do. He did what he had sworn to do, and he trusted the integrity of a process and the integrity of the police commissioner to be able to agree with that process, which they did. And now that the process has gone through all of the stages, the mayor now is I can't use that word. The mayor's backing out of it. He's showing the questionable integrity that he's had all during his tenure. He's showing that he is not living up to the promises that he's made to the police bureau, to the police association, and we're obviously upset about it, but more than upset, we're disillusioned with the fact that he's our police commissioner.
Now you talk about what Officer Frashour is going through. If you could describe how the police officers would feel toward Aaron Campbell's family. I mean, after the shooting, we know you guys are charged with you know, protecting and serving our community, but when we learned that a man who was unarmed was shot and killed by Officer Frashour, I mean, how does he live with that?
Well, it's a tragedy. We all admit that it's a tragedy. No police officer ever wants to go out and use deadly force, or any kind of force for that matter. That's not what we want to do. We want to enforce the laws. We want to solve problems. We want to make resources available to citizens. That's not what we want to do. That's what we do in the most critical of situations, and that's the only time we use deadly force or any other types of force. So obviously it's tough for everybody. It's tough for Officer Frashour, but he knows that he followed his training. He followed the policies of the police bureau. He knows that just like everybody else, they believe Aaron Campbell was armed. And so with that, I mean, that you can Monday morning quarterback, but unless you're there when a situation is occurring, it happens so fast, things happen, and you follow your training and you follow the policies and procedures of the Bureau as Ron Frashour did.
How are the rank and file reacting to this latest decision?
Well, just like they've reacted to this whole scenario of incidents involved with this case, I mean, they don't feel like they're supported by the police commissioner, which is the mayor. They feel like he's using this to grandstand for political reasons, obviously, and they feel like they don't have any protections out on the street when they're protecting the citizens of Portland. They can't go out and do their job effectively when there's always questions about if this is politically motivated, how will this look, and how will I be judged, and how will I be treated, and how will I be disciplined, and even in the courts now, too.
What about the police chief? We haven't heard anything, at least I'm not aware of anything from him in regards to this latest incident. Is that okay?
And I think what Chief Reese said months ago when the arbiter's decision came in is that although he didn't agree with it, that he believes in binding arbitration, he trusts the process, and he believes that Ron Frashour should be back to work.
Is Ron Frashour ready to come back to work?
He was ready to come back to work a long time ago, and he's ready to come back to work today.
How much is this costing you, the union?
We don't actually think about the cost of it. It's how important it is to our members. It's more so it's how much it's costing the taxpayers. This is going to be over $1 million. It's probably over $1 million right now. Obviously, the city won't divulge those records, but I mean, it's over $1 million. This is taxpayer dollars that could go towards law enforcement, towards school, towards other public safety, and it's not doing that. In a time when we have budget crunches, when the economy is tight, when people are living from dollar to dollar, day to day, some people, we're going to spend over $1 million on a case that will end up prolonging itself over a span of time of years maybe to come to an end result that probably would have been the same end result that we got from the arbiter.
The mayor said yesterday that the reason why he thinks that the city should continue to fight is because they should continue to have local control over police policy. What's your response to that?
They already have local control over police policy. They already have local control over police training and our policies and our policy manual. The police commissioner, the police chief, the city council all have a say in what goes into our training, what goes into our policies and procedures, and they always have.
Is there a takeaway from this entire process from the night it happened to today after, 6 review boards have happened? What's the end message of everything that's gone on related to this case?
Well, I think the end message is you have a police commissioner and a mayor who is not going to listen to anyone else. I'm sure he's getting advice from the city attorney's offices, and I'm sure he believes that if there's an inkling of anything that he should try it. But I also want to say that you have 6 independent bodies. Again, I will say that and I'll repeat that and I will be repetitive in that. You have 6 independent bodies, not connected to a union, not connected to city government, who said Ron Frashour committed no misconduct.
Who should be the commissioner instead of the mayor?
Now, I'm not saying the mayor shouldn't be the police commissioner, but I think ultimately the police chief should be looked upon as the final advisor to the police commissioner. The police chief usually has more police experience and different tactical situations. And although, like I said, Chief Reese disagreed with the arbiter's decision, he did agree that collective bargaining was the final word.
Do you think training is at fault here? And do you think it needs to be?
This is the training that we have is training it's actually more strict than national training. And nationwide, this is acceptable training. So if that needs to be looked at, that's something for us to talk to the chief's office about and sit down and look at those things. But it's nationally recognized training. The experts that they had, expert witnesses that the city themselves used in the civil case are the same expert witnesses we used in our arbitration. So they're giving the same answers to us they gave to the city in the city civil case.
How do you see this ending, and when do you see this ending, Daryl?
Well, hopefully we end this soon. Hopefully the commissioners don't agree to take this to the Court of Appeals. Hopefully they see that this has gone through all the layers that it needs to go through of transparency, and that Ron Frashour is put back to work soon.
Are you going to be meeting with commissioners on this?
I will be attempting to meet with commissioners on this, yes.
What about some reports that labor boards tend to rule in favor, the majority of the time, in favor of unions? Do you agree with that?
I disagree with that. If you look at the trend, if anybody's paying attention to the trend of collective bargaining nationwide, and I do, and I know our legal staff does, we look at those, and nationwide, the trend has been for the past few years, several years, that it has actually favored management. And if you look at what's happening in Wisconsin and Ohio and Indiana and other states, that's proof positive right there that it mostly always tends to be geared towards management.